Chapter 2, Maya Science and Daily Life. Wisdom in the Sky. The Maya believed that their gods gave them an unclear view of the world that was like breath on a mirror. But we also know that the Maya understood some things very well. The big question in this chapter is, why is the 365-day solar calendar employed by the Maya particularly impressive? Their knowledge of astronomy, for example, was impressive. The Maya, of course, did not have telescopes, computers, or satellites. They didn't even have the wheel. All they had were their own eyes, yet they were able to make very precise observations of the stars. Astronomy, a noun, the study of the stars, planets, and other features of outer space. Leap year, a year that has 366 days, or one more than all the other years, and it occurs every 4 years, like the year 2020. Maya calendars. We all know that there are 365 days in a year, plus an extra day every 4th year, or leap year. These numbers are the result of years of study of the stars and seasons. The Maya, working with scientific tools, calculated that there were 365.2420 days in a year. Modern astronomers used modern technology to measure the year at 365.2422 days. The Maya created a solar calendar, or a calendar based on the movements of the sun. This calendar is similar to our calendar, but there are some differences. We divide our year into 12 months. The Maya divided their year into 18 months, with names like Pop and Zip. A special 5-day month completed the 365-day year. Besides their 365-day solar calendar, Maya astronomers created another calendar called the Sacred Round. This calendar was 260 days long and was used to keep track of religious holidays and other important events. Because the Maya had 2 calendars, each day had 2 names. One name came from the Sacred Round and the other from the solar calendar. This also meant that all Maya people had 2 birthdays. Astronomy at work. We can see the results of Maya astronomy in the placement of their temples and pyramids. These structures were built so the sun would shine directly on key areas on certain days. In Chichen Itza, for example, the sun of the spring and fall equinoxes casts the shadow of a serpent statue onto the pyramid steps. As the sun rises, the shadow slithers down the stairs. An equinox is a day in which daytime and nighttime are about the same length. It happens twice every year. Inventing zero. The Maya were also skilled at mathematics. They developed a system of number symbols. A dot stood for 1, a bar stood for 5, a shell stood for 0. We all know that 0 can stand for nothing. But when it comes to a system of numbers, 0 means a lot. Think, for example, of the difference between the number 20 and 200. The Maya symbol for 0 worked the same as ours. In fact, the Maya were among the first people in the world to develop the concept of 0. How they lived. Most Maya people made their living as farmers. Their main crop was corn. One of their main foods was something you may have eaten, a flatbread called a tortilla. Farmers also grew beans, squash, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, and pumpkins. Maya farmers lived in one-room huts made out of mud and grass. Families lived in walled areas that had several huts. Men and boys did the farming. Women and girls took care of the house, cooked, and made clothing and pottery. Every culture has practices that seem odd to people. The Maya did 2 things that may seem a little strange to you. They considered crossed eyes to be beautiful, so mothers would hang something in front of the baby's nose to help the baby develop crossed eyes. The Maya also viewed a flat head as a symbol of beauty. They would strap a long board to the back of newborn babies. As the babies' heads rested against the board gradually flattened the back of the baby's soft skull. Before age 5, Maya children were cared for by parents and other relatives. At age 5, they took on new responsibilities, such as helping with farming and household chores. A boy had a white bead braided to his hair, and a girl had a string tied to her waist with a red shell attached. These symbols remained in place until the children reached the age of 14. At this point, an initiation ceremony was performed to mark their passage to adulthood. A child would pick a day when the stars were favorable. A priest would pick a day when the stars were favorable. Then the priest would cut the bead from the boy's hair, and a girl's mother would cut the string from her daughter's waist. Then the parents would have a celebration with family members and neighbors. Here's the initiation ceremony. It's a special event to mark a person's entry into a certain group or status. And a priest is a noun. It's a person who is training or had the authority to carry out religious ceremonies or rituals. After these ceremonies, boys moved into a house for unmarried men. There they would remain until they got married. Marriages were arranged. In the hard life of Maya farmers, marriages were not romantic affairs. They were more like business deals between families. As with the initiation ceremonies, priests picked the marriage dates. They checked with the stars and gods to find a day that would bring good fortune. However, no Maya couple expected married life to bring only good fortune. The Maya believed that every aspect of life was controlled by the gods. Because some gods were good and some were bad, they expected life to include both joy and sorrow. So where did everybody go? The ancient Maya were amazing people who built great civilization. That fact alone is a reason to find them interesting. But one of the most fascinating questions about ancient Maya civilization is what happened to cause it to end? Archaeologists believe that the Maya left their cities sometime between 800 and 900 Common Era. It's possible this event happened over just a few decades. Until the 900s, the Maya kept careful historical records. They used their hieroglyphs to carve names and dates on pyramids and temples. Then in the 900s, the writing mysteriously stopped. The temples and pyramids began to fall into disrepair. So what happened? Archaeologists have theories, but they can't find clear proof for any one of them. One theory holds that farmers rose up against the priests and nobles, but this raises another question. What happened to the farmers? There is no evidence of a new group of people replacing the old ones in power. Some have guessed that disease wiped out the Mayan population, but no mass burial grounds have been found. Archaeologists have found signs that some people in this area did die from diseases. Almost all of these deaths, however, seem to have occurred after 1500, when the Spanish brought new diseases to the Americas. The Maya had been gone for years before that. Did disaster strike the Maya? Did drought or heavy rainfall bring famine? Was there an earthquake? Did shifting trade routes affect the lowland Maya rulers and their settlements? Could invaders have toppled the civilization? What do you think? No one knows for sure, but we only know that the once great Maya cities were abandoned and swallowed up by the rainforest. The Maya scattered, but the people themselves did not disappear. Today, millions still speak languages related to ancient Maya. These ancestors of the pyramid builders have lived in villages, towns, and cities in southern Mexico, Guatemala, and Honduras. They've lived there for centuries. They have a rich heritage, one that we are learning more about with each passing year. We'll learn more about the Aztec Empire.